Good evening, YouTube. This is Kayleen String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner back at my normal time. Yeah, I had to change it up last Sunday because, well, I was hoping to accommodate another streamer who was going to go on Sunday, but then crap happened. I mean, he had a literal, well, almost a literal SHTF in his house that he had to deal with, so he had to take care of that problem, so he ended up not going live. But I'm back at my normal time. This is meal 2 of this 2019 Russian mountain ration. Last week I had the beef with peas and carrots, kind of like a beef stew, but the beef was in very small pieces. And there were a couple items, when I opened this, there was a couple items missing because apparently when the guy I bought this from originally got it, there were some damaged items, so he got rid of those. So this is menu 3. And you can see so then he just taped it back up. There's LC here. But this is a pretty thick bag. It's a Mylar bag, so it is perfectly reusable. I'll just cut off the zip because that zipper seal is kind of messed up anyway. James Ortiz is here. So I have everything in the box. I'm just going to turn this sideways. So I left this breakfast kasha in here, this raspberry. But this will be a breakfast item. And I have both of these packs of crackers. I ate the other one that's like this one last week. So I still have the fruit bar. I have always enjoyed these fruit bars. So the tea is going to go into my mug. And when I was cleaning up, I went ahead and emptied out those 2 sugar packets because I just didn't feel good about storing them for long term, so I just ended up dumping that sugar and using it. Well, not throwing the sugar away. I just emptied those packets out. So just got some sugar in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and toss this tea bag into my mug. I have always enjoyed this Russian tea, and I have a fair number of these tea bags, so they are part of my stash. And this is it's a powdered milk with some other ingredients added to it. So this would be the other dessert item. I could use that breakfast kasha as a dessert if I wanted to. This Russian chocolate paste, it's kind of like Nutella without the hazelnut. So it's pure chocolate paste. I love this stuff. And it's very thick too. It's thicker than Nutella. Then this is tuna and tomato sauce. It's not quite a pate. It's a little bit looser than that. That liver pate have not been able to determine if that is a beef liver or pork liver, so I'm not going to eat that one. I am holding that in reserve in case the seller wants that back because he has been looking for pates. So the entree items I have, this is, it doesn't say Tushonka on it. It says Tushenya, and I'm not sure if that is close to a Tushonka or just another version of a stewed beef. See the cow there. And then the other entree is this kasha, and I'm not sure. I never looked it up to see if this was a buckwheat or rice or wheat or barley. And then the other two side items, instant potatoes with some onion in there. Very good. I love these instant potatoes, and it's been a long time since I had them, so I'm happy to have them again. Or the soup mix. And by the look of it, it looks like it might be some kind of a mushroom or some kind of a vegetable soup. And if I do the soup, then that would definitely get some of these busted up crackers. Yeah, it very well could be buckwheat, but because this picture on here is so small, it's hard to tell what the side of the grain looks like until I open it. But I went ahead and prepared the cold drink. I emptied both of those packets into my drinking jar. I did that this morning, and then I just let it sit, and I just stirred it a couple of times throughout the day. And I'm going to add a little bit more water into this. There, that should do it. So that's the trouble with these drink mixes that are so high in a moisture content. It makes them difficult to properly mix up. So the company needs to change that. And I would also say the same about real Termat in the drink mixes they do for the Norwegian rations. Those have too much moisture content. Yeah, I haven't seen that person in any streams either. I hope everything is okay. Well, that's awesome, Elsie. So, anyway, so back to what I'm thinking of doing. If I eat the kasha, I would pair it with this soup. And I did bring a bowl out there for that. But if I eat this beef, then what I'm thinking about is prepare the instant potatoes and then maybe put the beef down on top of it. So that's what I'm thinking of doing with that. So which one of these would you like to see me open up? The kasha or this kasha or this okay, so what that's one for the kasha, and then I would do the soup along with that. I will have to decide on if I want to go ahead and open this up tonight or save it for next week or what, because that would be another meat item. There is spicy tuna rolls in the house. Okay, there's the Carlos Perry here. So I guess that's a change for say the meat and potatoes. Oh, bugger spicy. That's a real crapper. Didn't you tell him not to mess with that again? I gotta straighten up just a hair. Okay, well, that's two for this. And it's potatoes. So I'll go ahead and take that out. So I will toss these crackers back into the box. So that will leave me with these crackers and these. So I had these last time. Some of these are broken too, but not as bad as the pack I tossed back into the box. I'm going to just toss that breakfast kasha and that milk powder back into the box too. And I think because we have a kid watching, I will keep the chocolate paste out. And I'll kind of think about this one, because this one will need no preparation at all. Just open up the can. So what I will do is, since I've already got the tea bag in the mug, I'm going to go ahead and empty the instant potato into the bowl. I got the cheaters because there's no tear notch on the bag. I have a plastic bag that I just took out of my pocket that I put all the trash in. And I will hold off on actually preparing this until it's time to take the can out. So I just hope I don't have a pop tab failure like last time, but if I did, I'll deal with it. So I'm just going to put that bowl there, and I'll put the mug there. So I will go take this into the kitchen, and of course, like last time, the label will fall off, but that's what it is. And I'll be right back. I'm going to scroll back to see what I missed. I just tapped. I just hope I improved the focus a little bit. Sometimes I have to do that. I have to just tap my screen just to get it to refocus. I'm going to put the tea back there to steep. Again, I have I emptied both packets. I literally had to knead the living crap out of them in order to get the stuff to come out. And then I just dumped them both in. And I didn't. I probably filled it up to about here to mix it, and then I just let it sit in the fridge. And then I gave it another mix probably about an hour ago. So that's how long it takes to dissolve that stuff. And there are still a couple of chunks, but it's pretty much all dissolved by now. This is the citrus drink in that yellow, shiny camo packet. The only time I drink commercially bottled water is if there is something going in the mosque and we don't keep washable tableware there. We only use disposables, and I don't feel like wasting a cup. And if I don't take my own water bottle, and if there's a water bottle handy there, then I'll drink it. And then if I'm still there and I finish that bottle, then I'll just go to the sink and refill it. But otherwise, I take my own bottle that I keep in the fridge. I actually keep several bottles filled with water in the fridge. That way, if something happens to the water service here and I want cold water that's safe to drink, I can just go to the fridge and get it. See, like this bottle here, it's a glass bottle with a little screw cap. So I'm going to peel that off. Close-up of the chocolate paste. Love that stuff. No. Several years ago, there was a local ballot measure for the city to try to get the Des Moines Waterworks to stop adding fluoride to the water, but that failed. So we still have fluoride in the water, unfortunately. And I don't want to take in too much of that stuff. So that's why I use a toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride in it. The town of Osceola, Iowa is still on partial water restrictions because their source lake is still very low. Now, the rain we got before we got the snow, I don't know how much they got there. There is Cliff in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring the main here, and then I will bring back the kettle to prepare the instant potatoes. I just slid a couple of things around because I want to keep the kettle here in case I need a little bit more water for the instant potatoes. And I am going to throw another little dribble in. Actually, instead of dumping this out onto the tray, what I could do is I could just leave the potatoes in the bowl and then dump the beef into the bowl. I'll take a taste of this first right now. Love that onion flavor. See, there is the label that came off of the can. I'm going to slide this over. Let's hope I don't have another tab failure. So that's why the long pause last week was I popped it like that and then I bent it over. Go ahead and I'll take the kettle back in. I'm done with that. No tab failure this time. Yeah, look how clean that came off. There is Booger Butt and Booger Butt in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Sorry, that splattered a lot of the fat, so I'm cleaning that up. So it's a good thing I'm keeping it in the bowl. There's a lot of gravy. So mixing the mashed potato in with this. That is so good. That is so good. I think I'll save this package of crackers for another time. I'm going to go ahead and open up these. Find a little piece of take a test nibble. These still have that wheat, like the white cracker taste. They're just not as fresh as one would like them, but they're still perfectly fine. But they still got crunch. Dipping it in that gravy. A good portion of that will be melted fat. So as this sits, it will start to thicken up. This is really good with, that's just the meat in the gravy by itself, but with the potato, this is pretty darn good. No, these do not last very long. And even though these are pretty thick, they still can break fairly easily if they've been knocked around. And these definitely took some knocking around. In fact, I might toss some of these bits right in here and just leave them. And for those who are interested in where I got this, the guy who has a channel Killing Zombies, his name, I hope he doesn't mind me saying his name, Nicholas Sklo or Sklov, if you're using Polish pronunciation. I'm not sure if he's Polish or not. I never thought to ask him. But I bought this along with some other items, including Polish. So last week I used one of the Polish drinks, the forest fruit tea. I used that in place of the drink mixes that came in here because they had gotten so hard and I just didn't want to take the time to knead the crap out of them. Oh, yeah. The person who gets that ration would definitely be sending complaints up the chain of command. No, I think his last video that I have seen has been over a month ago. But in one of the ration chats, I know he said he's been having to unload a bunch of stuff. And he's got some more to unload. Of course, last time I said that when I get my next Google payment, I'm going to use it to buy rations because I'm actually getting low on complete rations. I have the other beef brisket Amory, but since I reviewed one earlier this year, I don't want to get into that one. I bought that and some others off of another seller. So I may sell or trade that one. Oh, good. But I do need to get some more rations, at least enough to get me up to Ramadan. Of course, I have stuff I can do ration mashups. I don't have a huge amount of side items, but I do want to get some of those. So if I buy from him again, he has a list of a bunch of different side items. So I could add to that. Yeah, I do have that can of German sliced bread. So I could get at least 2 or 3 meals out of that. Yeah. Yeah, I think some of that is a little uncalled for. This is just so good with the potato. And the cracker just soaks it right up. Tea bag is set in there long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out. There. I really like this Russian tea. So I'm glad I got a few of them in my stash. This is almost like the texture of a corned beef, kind of like in between a pulled and a grind. So there's a close up of some of the meat fibers. Wow. That just cannot be passed up. I mean, if you can get a load of them like that for a decent price, I would definitely be doing that. Yeah, I agree on that. That it's just insane what's going on. Someone on Facebook showed a seller listing individual USMREs for 30 each. Oh, heck no. I can see 30 for a foreign single meal, but for a USMRE, oh, heck no. No, I'm not risking it either. It is just, it's too sketchy. You know, the one time I ordered a single US MRE from a Lithuanian seller, I did that purely as a test to see if customs would mess with it since it's an American ration. It just happened to be in Lithuania, but it didn't get messed with. And it had beef in it. Beef or chicken, I don't remember which one. But I'm actually surprised that that MRE didn't get rated since it came from outside the US. DeCarlos, are you referring to the guy I bought the Lithuanian, the US MRE from the Lithuanian seller? No, that was a good price on that one. I was not gouged on the price. I did that purely as a test to see if customs would mess with it. That's the only reason why I bought the MRE from Lithuania. I mean, it didn't cost any more than a Lithuanian MRE, a Lithuanian single meal ration. But I wanted to find out if it would be rated or not. That's the only reason why I did that. Now, this person that posted that $30 MRE found the listing. That person was not the seller. This person found the listing on eBay and showed it, just to prove that some people are just crazy. And he said that he will not do that. Well, look who it is. Art and Ornina dropping that super chat saying hi to everybody. So Art posted a video on a membership contest that he's got going. So if you become a member of their channel, there's Mike Kreischer in the house, thanks for dropping in, then you could enter a giveaway for a Norwegian Arctic field ration, another one of these sporks, and some other things. But I have already had that particular menu, just not in the year that he was showing. That one has a best buy of next year. There is Tim from right here in Iowa. Thanks for dropping in. But I'm not going to enter that since I've already had that one. I would rather let someone else have a chance at it. And for those coming in, I'm just going to fold this bag in half because it's so big. But menu 3. Sorry, it doesn't want to focus, but there we go. But this is a 2019 pack. I am having the beef, and I put it on top of the instant potatoes, and I busted up some cracker bits and threw it in there. I prepared the tea. Now this may look unappetizing, but oh boy, is this good. The onion flavor of the minced potatoes definitely helps out and adds flavor to the meat, which is already good. Yeah, the can said Tushenya instead of Tushanka, so it's something similar. But that mixed with the minced potatoes, yeah, this is good stuff. Yeah, and we are supposed to get a little bit more snow on Thursday. At least that's what I saw when I was looking at a forecast earlier today. And it got up to 7 below 0 Fahrenheit actual temp for our high. And it got down to minus 17 Fahrenheit last night, not the minus 21 that was originally forecasted, but yeah, my slider was the slider portion was seriously frosted over, and even the fixed portion, the half of the glass that does not move, that had some ice on it too. Oh, that's awesome. And Dave, I hope LJ is doing good. You know, whatever he's into this year. Being that he's got school plus his other activities, that keeps him busy. So I had to get it to refocus. Oh, wow. Yeah. He'll be taller than you before you know it. Yeah, he may be drafted onto the basketball team if that's his interest. Well, kind of hard to stop that. I mean, if that's what your DNA tells your cells to do, then that's going to happen. This is the chocolate paste. So I had to, some of the beef juices got on it, so I just licked that off. But I'm going to Yeah. Or impulse, we start to shrink. I keep telling the staff in my doctor's office, I want my 2 inches back that you took from me. Because I used to be 5 feet 3 inches. Now they say I'm 5 feet 1 inch. I want those other 2 inches back. Baby Shack. Yeah, he might turn out to be one if he chooses to play basketball. Gonna take another sip of this. And this is both of the drink packets combined. No, it's chocolate. It's chocolate paste. It's a little bit thicker than Nutella. So it's pure chocolate, no nut flavor at all. But this stuff can be very, very dangerous. Well, Dave, maybe he got it from someone else in the family. Yeah. My dad was 5'10". My oldest sister and my second oldest sister are nearly identical height. My oldest sister is just slightly taller. My brother is almost 6 foot. So for a while, he stayed as short as me until he got into like when he was like 16. Then all of a sudden, he just shot up. Well, Dave, I think you done well by taking him in. And just, you've done well raising him. Yeah, don't take off, DeCarlos, unless you absolutely have to. Yeah, we like having you around here. Gonna have another drink of this tea. Oop. Yep, definitely a fortunate young man. Now, if it's bourbon time, does that mean Bourbon Street Joe will drop in? I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I had to. He's been putting out some stuff. Because I watched Smitty review one of the newer Canadian IMP breakfast rations. It's a vegetarian breakfast casserole, but it's like a take on the hash browns with bacon, but with a vegetarian sausage mixed in with the potatoes. So I'm interested in that one. Yeah, he opened that up after doing a little bit of a hike. It has at least his had the ice drink mix, had the 3-in-1 coffee, it had the think it was a raspberry, the crunchy cereal, or like an oatmeal or something like that. That's a good one, Cliff. Well, speaking of salad bars, when I went to college down in Arkansas, the food was, I'll just call it jail food quality. A lot of times I just hit the salad bar and loaded up on that. And then I would hit the cereal dispensers because those were left out at all three meals. And then they had these milk machines, these milk dispensers. You put like, I think they hold like a 5-gallon bag with the spout tube, and then the tube is held in a clamp, and then when you release it to get milk out, then it dispenses some, and then it closes up again to control the milk flow. So I would be hitting the salad bar, I would be hitting the cereal dispensers. You know, sometimes you never knew what the food was supposed to be. I mean, even for breakfast, they serve grits, but you couldn't tell the grits from the oatmeal. They looked identical. Oh, did someone just let out a secret? Yeah, the Polk County Jail here. Yeah, there's some sketchy stuff in there. But they do have a rule that during Ramadan, Muslims are allowed to fast and they must be given their breakfast before first light and their supper after sunset. And if one employee tries to write that person up for not taking their meal or their medicines during the non-critical medicines during the day while they're fasting, they cannot be written up for it. And according to the info that I've seen, they do not serve any pork products, but you still can't be too sure. Especially when it comes to things like the hot dogs or other processed meats. But the first time I had hospital food since I was a little kid, when I had my eye surgeries, all 5 of them before I started school, the food in the Boone County Hospital, I think I was like 13 or 14 at the time. Or no, I was like 15. I might have been 15 at the time. But the food there was pretty bad, and they had some inept food runners there where a person came in with a meal and put it down on my tray. There is Hugo Homestead in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And I looked at the card, and it said Liquid Diet and someone else's name and room number. And I said, this isn't my lunch. Get it out of here. So then she looked. Oops. So then she had to find mine and bring it in. I think I'll save this bar for next time, since I have this chocolate paste. And then they had someone running around with a book cart offering books to patients. So I'm laying on my bed watching the TV with a thermometer sticking out of my mouth, and she had the nerve to ask me if I wanted a book. So I just looked at her like, can you see what's sticking out of my mouth? Yeah, I mean, that wasn't the most enjoyable experience. But I think those people learned their lesson that they have to pay more attention to what's going on, Make sure they know what room they're going into, and if you see a thermometer sticking out of someone's mouth, you don't ask them a question and expect an immediate answer. Yeah, my mom stayed in that same hospital when she had bladder surgery, and she had similar issues with some inept staff. Think someone might be messing with you, Mike? You think that could be what's going on? Okay, in that case, Mike, you know you're not allowed to use your vehicle to take down a deer on purpose. You have to use something else for that. This back here is some of the congealed fat from the meat. So I was just scrolling back through the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I still have this tuna in tomato sauce. Would you like to see this opened up this time or save it for next week? Nothing on the other side of this. But it's a little looser than a pate. Just scraping some of the fat that's solidified that landed on it. Yeah, that will go back into the box. You mean that can of bacon that looks like it's got more, like 3 times more fat than meat? I've seen one person open it up on camera and it looks like it just falls apart when you try to get it out of the can. Yeah, that's right. I don't eat anything pig. No, it did not taste like pork. In fact, the label's rather wet, but I think I can still open it up fully. Oh, it's starting to fall apart, but oh, here we go. See, it has a cow's head. So this is not, so this is beef. And it says Tushenya. The bottom word is Tushenya. It's not Tushonka, but it's something similar. So this is an all beef ration. Does make me curious why the company that packed this one would use all beef. Beef bacon has a slightly different flavor. You know, you taste the actual beef, and it takes a little bit longer to cook than pork bacon, but it does cook up very. You know, it cooks like pork bacon. You know, it's got the fat all through it, and the one that I get, I choose to buy, was made right here in Iowa. Minimar is based out of Cedar Rapids. There are other companies that produce it. At one time, I found some Hormel beef bacon in a Hy-Vee store, but the only thing is, if you want beef bacon of any brand, you have to be able to justify putting in that special request. Like if you want a couple packages, they may buy 10 and then sell the rest. You know, just see who buys it. But so far, I like the flavor of the Minimar the best. I've had one called Godshaw's. I've had Dean Halal. But the Minimar is my favorite. You can find it in stores that cater to Muslims and Jews, because Jews also don't eat pork. You can probably find it online. You can go to the Minimar website, and if you buy it directly from them, they will ship it to you frozen. You might be able to find some on Amazon. But again, it would be shipped to you frozen. Just going after some more of this chocolate paste. I've had a few different brands of the turkey bacon, but I choose the Minimar. But it's solid meat, just formed into strips. You don't have the fat. But it's a different meat option that I choose to take. I have heard of chicken bacon, and my Facebook friend up in London, Ontario, has gotten it, and I have looked at it online. I looked at Amazon listings for it, but I have never tried it. I have never seen it in stores down here. I'm thinking about buying some and trying it. Just for something different. Yeah, just like I said earlier, there are some turkey bacon brands that are better than others, and I will choose Minimar. So if you're interested in trying that, you know, if you can find it locally, go ahead and get some, or order online if that's the only way you can get some to try it. But it's worth a try. Of course, I also like supporting an Iowa business too. Not too many opportunities to support a local company. I'm going to have another swig of this. I just noticed I had some of that fat on my drinking jar, so I scraped some of that off. Yeah, that sounds like something you would have to literally soak in water or broth or add it to a soup in order to be able to eat that. Or it just wasn't made right. I have never eaten bear meat. I've never eaten moose meat. I've had elk jerky one time. And of course, I've had ground bison. I've had bison jerky, bison meat sticks. And of course, I've had ostrich. That French RCIR with the ostrich and cranberry sauce. Someone did a review of one of those sometime last year. Made me wish I had another one of those. I'm going to have to break this cracker because the chocolate paste is getting too deep in there to get at it with the corner of a cracker. Nope, never had that mountain goat either. I do enjoy goat meat. I don't get it very often, but I do enjoy it when I can. The only way I can buy goat meat down here is in big chunks on the bone. Now, there is one channel that will show it occasionally, and that's only when he actually hunts a bear or someone he knows hunts it and shares some of the meat. Well, actually, two channels, but the same guy has both channels. And My Self-Reliance and Sean James up in Ontario. Because because of where he lives, he has access to a variety of game animals to hunt. You know, he lives in a remote cabin in the forest, and his property borders what is called Crown Land. And because of that, he can hunt all around his property, not just on his property. So he hunts different birds, he fishes, and he goes after deer. Yeah, goat meat does take a long time to properly cook it, but when you do it right, it is so tender, just falls off the bone if you have it on the bone. Oh, yeah. Deer jerky is some awesome stuff. We have some elk here in Iowa, but most of them live in protected area or reserves. So people cannot go inside these parks. They're either in a state park or a county park. So they cannot be hunted, but you can photograph them, you can film them. But that's all you can do. So I have seen the elk that are here. Big old glob of this. I've had rabbit before, I've had squirrel, but not since I was a kid. Oh, speaking of rodents, there's an invasive species rodent that's the size of a beagle-sized dog called a nutria, and they are going up into Texas and the other Southwest states. They came up from South America, and apparently people can not only hunt them to cut down their numbers so they don't overrun the local areas, but you can eat them. In fact, one channel I watch, he normally does mouse traps, rat traps. He tests out different traps. He also takes down nests of hornets, wasps, yellow jackets. But he took nutria, butchered it, and actually prepared it. And his wife and kids ate it and liked it. And he told them what it was. And there was enough meat in that one nutria for all of them to have a full meal out of, plus whatever else they were eating for dinner. Yeah, the only thing about rabbit is you have to have a fat in order to cook it. Since rabbit is extremely lean, or you put the rabbit in some kind of a soup or a stew, Yeah, I would not eat the meat of any feline or wild canine, wolf, coyote, fox, or any of the big cats. I would not do that unless it was an extreme survival situation. That's the only time I would do that. I've only heard coyotes here. I've never heard wolves or foxes. Yeah, thanks for dropping in, Dave. Sorry about that. There is CR in the house. I don't have much left, but I'll tell you what I did do. I had the stewed meat that I put on top of the instant potatoes, and I busted up some of the crackers and put it in there. And I got the tea in the cup. There is Gil of Camp Patton Family Compound. Thanks for dropping in. And then this is a chocolate paste, which there isn't much of, much left of it. Yeah, CR, you just missed Burger Butt and Burger Butt. Dave, he's heading out. And then this is the Russian drink mix, both packets. I mixed those up this morning so that it would take time to dissolve. And it took some work to get it to come out of the packets. And then right before, as I was setting up, I brought it back out. I had mixed it up a couple more times during the day. And then as I was starting, I added a little bit more water to it. There is Nation MRE Fines. Thanks for dropping in. Menu 3. So this is my second meal from this. So I will show what I have left. I'm going to slide my tray over here. I'm going to get that out of the way. So this is that tuna in tomato sauce. This is the all fruit bar. Fig is the base fruit with the others added to it. And then this is the instant soup I'll be mixing up. And then this is the kasha. And info says it might be the buckwheat. This is just an instant milk powder with a couple other ingredients in there. And then this one is a breakfast, something that the person in the field would have for breakfast. Then I got these busted up crackers. These are like the ones I ate tonight. Then these are like the crackers I opened up last Sunday. So there's only the one tea that I drank tonight, and then the coffee, which I had last Sunday. And because I didn't feel like dealing with the super clumpy drink mixes that were in this ration, I went for a Polish drink. Instead. So next week, when I do the third meal from this 24-hour mountain ration, I will go for one of the Polish instant hot teas, and I'll probably pull a British drink mix from that ORP that I did before I got into this thing. Thanks for dropping in, Mike. Yeah, this is my usual time. I have been known to change it up occasionally, but I do try to keep it at this time. It works pretty good for me. The only times I might change it is if I'm working around someone else, or I need to change it up for something else that I got to do on that day, or whatever. Of course, during Ramadan, I will not be doing streams, since I will be spending every afternoon into late evening at the mosque, because I help with the dinner prep and setting everything up. And I'm responsible for mixing the mango drink that we serve every night. In fact, this coming week, we're supposed to be getting some more stuff brought in so that we can be fully stocked. Our aim is to have all of the supplies needed, or as much as we can, to last us the entire month, with the exception of the milk and the ice cream. Those would be brought in like enough for 2 days, maybe 3, because we won't have a huge amount of freezer and fridge space available, even with our new fridge and freezer, because we're going to be storing some of the other meats and veggies and stuff like that. So if we can get a good amount of those other things that don't have to be put in the fridge or the freezer ahead of time, it will make it so much easier for us. Well, you have to come here to Iowa in order to get the version that we have here. Now, the legit mango lassi is made with yogurt instead of milk. And I'm not sure if ice cream is used. Sorry, I had a brief disconnect. As I was saying, I'm not sure if the true authentic mango lassi is just yogurt and the mango pulp, or if ice cream is included, or what. Just the version that I have known since I started attending this mosque was milk, vanilla ice cream, and the mango pulp. The person who was doing it before, she was adding some sugar, but then we cut the sugar out because it was too sweet for a lot of people's liking. The ice cream was enough to make it the desired amount of sweetness, so we cut the sugar out. But I make that's one of the first things I do is I make that up ahead of time, and then it sits in the fridge until it's time to serve it. And then we serve that with dates when it's time for everybody to break their fast for the day. But personally, I think that is a great summertime treat. You can make that up. And if you want, you can refreeze it and then eat it like ice cream. I've done that too. That's good that way. The consistency is not the same as the original consistency of the ice cream that you use, because the ice cream gets thawed out enough so it's easily mixed in with the milk and the mango pulp. So that changes the texture of it when you refreeze it. But still, it's really, really good frozen. Sorry, it's finishing off a tiny bit of that chocolate paste, but I'll dig that out with the finger later. But yeah, I make that every day. And then I start doing other things after that, like portioning out the dates, dividing up the plates and the utensils and napkins between the two halves of the main room plus a smaller room which we set up for kids or just overflow. Adults will go in there if there are not too many kids, and it's just like an overflow room. The men sit on one side of the partition, and then the women sit on the other. But we now own hot boxes. So once we fill the serving pans that are like, we got the steel ones that are like the ones that you would find in a buffet that sit on steam tables or warming tables. We have some of those, and we're going to use those as much as we can instead of the foil pans because, for one thing, they're a lot sturdier, they're a lot easier to load into the hot boxes. And with the steel lids that come with them, you can easily stack them. So we can cook the food, divide it up into these steel pans, slap lids or foil on them if you don't have enough of the steel lids. We put them into the hot boxes, and those things will keep something hot for like up to 8 hours. Or you can use them as a cold box. So if you make something that has to be kept cold, that originally was it in a fridge or a freezer, you can stick that in there and it'll keep it refrigerator temp for probably just as long as it'll keep something hot. Oh, Spicy, if you want freezing, you just come right up here to Des Moines, or you go up to Alaska, or you go up where LC is. Then you'll be freezing. Or you go up where CR is, that'll be freezing. Yeah, see, that's actual temperature. That's not even the wind chill. Our actual temperature got down to minus 17 Fahrenheit last night. And the wind chill I saw before I went to bed got down to like 51 below. Minus 51 Fahrenheit wind chill. Yeah, the wind was really cranking last night. See? There you got another offer. You can go give InfoSend Assist. I'm sure that big old tail fin could move some snow. There is Shadow Scout Sweet in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm down to the drinks. I got cracker crumbs left, but I'll deal with that later. Yep, I had the stewed beef, and this can was called Tushenya instead of Tushonka. It's a slightly different version, but it's basically beef and broth and fat. Now the fat the fat is all congealing, as you can tell right there. That has solidified. But I'll scrape that up later when I clean up. Then I mixed up the instant potatoes, the onion flavor instant potatoes. Very, very delicious. I love those instant potatoes. I wish we could buy that here. But if I want onion flavored instant potatoes, I have to add my own. So what I did is I mixed up the instant potatoes and I opened up the beef and put it on top. And that is a real good combo. So I've already had the beef with peas and carrots. So that was the first main I had. Yeah, Shadow is going to be having his coffee. And I got my Russian tea. And this is that citrus drink, both packets. I mixed those up this morning and just let it hang out in my fridge till it started to dissolve. And then then I mixed it a couple of times after that. So this drinking jar holds about 13 ounces of water. That's a max I can put in here, give or take a milliliter or 3. So next week I will have the soup and the beef kasha, and I will have the fruit bar. And I did not open up this tuna in a tomato sauce. So I'll go ahead and open up that. That liver pate that was in here is actually sitting in my fridge. I have not been able to figure out if it's beef liver or pork liver, and I cannot get Google Translate to read the ingredients, plus that part of the rim of that foil tin is a bit messed up, and then that wrinkled the label. And plus with the writing being curved like this, the Translate app just can't get around that, pun intended. Yeah, the text has to be pretty much straight, in a straight line, for it to really work. Otherwise, it could come out all disjointed and it could come out totally opposite of what you hope it would say. So since the seller is actually looking to buy Ration pates, I'm holding on to it in case he would like to have that one back. When I bought the Ration, he left it in there. He did not take it out. Yeah, the only things that were missing were, I'm not sure if there's supposed to be 3. Actually, I can look to see if there's supposed to be 3 sugar packets. Oh yeah, there's supposed to be 3 sugar packets. It said 60 grams, but there's only 2 of them. So something happened to the 3rd sugar packet. I'm guessing that when he opened up the Ration and that vegetable caviar stuff, that is what caused all the brown staining. So apparently one of the sugar packets was completely messed up, so he probably ditched that. And one of the 3 clear plastic spoons was broken, so he ditched that. So I was left with 2 sugar packets. They had some staining on the packets, so I just decided to go ahead and open them up and use them instead of try to hold on to them, because usually when I get all this extra sugar in a ration, I save them. But I decided I'm not going to take any chances with sitting on those, so I just emptied them and used them. Ugh. No, but I'm not too worried about it. You know, I think I bought something from this same. Let's see. I think this is the first time I've actually bought from him, but I sold him some things. Yeah, I sold him my Minotaur Trading Company desserts, and then I had a little can. Well, not so little, but like maybe a 28-ounce size can that had a freeze-dried entree in it, but it had pork, so he got that. So I sold him those, and then I bought this Russian ration. And then he threw in some Polish things. I have a Polish main that is a beef something. I'd have to translate that one because I don't know enough Polski. I know it's not the goulash because I've had the Polish goulash before. I love that. And then I have the Polish drinks, and I have a German can of bread. There was one coffee in this ration, and I drank that last week. So next week I'll just pull a couple of drinks from my stash. One of the Polish hot teas that I got, and I'll pull a British drink since I had one of the Polish forest fruit teas last Sunday with the first meal from this ration. There's Chicago in the house. I'm down to my drinks. Yeah, Shadow, that sounds like the coffee that I had at the college that I went to back in the 80s. We used to say that if it was any thicker, you could stand your spoon up in it. So that's how stout that stuff was. That place is not known for their food quality. Yeah, strong coffee is fine, but when it's just way overdone, Yeah, that's not so good. But I still drank it anyway. They called it Mississippi mud down there. No, I don't like watered down coffee either. But I want to be able to drink it and not have to use a spoon to eat it unless it was coffee ice cream. Yeah, I used a lot of sugar and creamer down there just to make it more palatable. I'm surprised CR hasn't said he's hungry. Yeah, it sure is. I haven't had a good coffee ice cream in a coon's age. But I don't get out to ice cream shops very often, even though there is one not all that far from where I live. I just choose not to go spend my money on it. Yep, this is the soup. This Preston brand has the same as the peanuts that I had last week, same as the instant potatoes. I was just looking for something on the back of the soup packet. There's the company is called Ration. So yeah, it is in. So that's some weird thingy for the O, but that's a Russian. I'm not wanting to focus, but yeah, it's a. But apparently, Articon does the Preston brand. Almost looks like a logo you might find on a item intended for a kid. Okay, thanks for dropping in. I'm probably going to knock this off pretty soon anyway. Since I'm pretty much done with all the food that I was going to eat tonight. Yep, I did. Yeah, he came late to the party. Then again, who knows? He may have made his own dinner beforehand. Yes, it is Monday morning already for Shadow and Info since they're on the other side of the pond. Of course, tomorrow is the Iowa caucuses, the first presidential nominating contest in the U.S. I will not be going out in that deep freeze. It's still going to be really cold. If I go out, it's just to take trash to the dumpster, and that will be it. I was going to do it today, but nah. I'm going to hold off until tomorrow. I have a regular scheduled doctor's appointment on Tuesday. So at least the temperature will be above zero when I go out for that, but I'm still going to wear layers. So I got a bit of a mess to clean up here, so everything that I've held on to is back in the box. Again, this breakfast, it's a raspberry porridge. Be nice if there are big pieces of raspberry in there. And what I might do, since I saved this bar. This will be my dessert next week. I think I'm just gonna I may use this on some cereal or granola during Ramadan. And then this just might go into my camping food bag. Or I may use it. I have a bunch of other breakfast mueslis and porridges and things like this from rations 24-hour rations that I've done where I have not used breakfast things. But I think that's where these will go. These will go for later use. But everything else in here, and I'll pick a couple of other drinks from my stash to throw in. And that will be for next week. And then I have one more U.S. tailored operational training meal. I have one of those to open up. But like I said earlier, as soon as I get my my Google payment, I am going to order some more rations so I can have some more to put into my box. Plus, I got loose components I'll throw together to make a couple of meals. I can do that. I got a French halal entree. I got that Polish one that I got in that box that this Russian ration came in. I got that German canned bread. I love that stuff. Plus some other things that I can get into. So if I can I just want enough to get me through February into early March, and then I can order some more. That way when Ramadan, because Ramadan starts on March 12th, could be 11th or could be 13th, well, something like that, because it follows a lunar cycle. But shortly before mid-April, I will be starting up the streams again, so I want to have some stuff already on hand so I can get back into it while I wait for additional rations to come in. So that is what I'm going to try to do. I do thank you all for checking this one out with me. Again, this bag will be a keeper. I will find some way to use it. I mean, you gotta love that pattern. I mean, this is just too dang awesome. So I hope you're all staying warm and getting ready to dig out if you have to do some digging out. So I will be here 7 p.m. US Central next Sunday. That is if I don't have to go hang out with my sister who had foot surgery right after, well, like a couple days after Thanksgiving. She had foot surgery and she still cannot put any kind of weight on it, even though she had the cast taken off and is back to wearing one of those orthopedic boots. So she might be able to start putting weight on it maybe next month. But until then, if I have to go hang out with her while my other sisters and my brother are at work, I want to be able to do that. But so far I haven't had to do that, but just in case, I will do that if I have to. But she should be starting her physical therapy as soon as the doctor clears her for putting at least some weight on that foot. But anyway, I do want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. And I hope to see you next week for the third meal from this ration. I've really enjoyed it so far. Thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.